I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel, Jamie Sage Knits. Today I'll be sharing my summer knitting plans as well as some inspiration as we head into the summer months. If you're a subscriber, sorry I have not posted a video in the last few weeks. I have been pretty preoccupied with my wedding and my honeymoon, so there's been a lot going on in my personal life and I haven't had a chance to work on a video, but I'm really excited to share today. I have been knitting a bit in the background and I will share a podcast with more detail on my recent projects as well. Also, sorry if you can hear in my voice, I'm a little sick. I feel like that's kind of how it always goes when you have these big events and then you kind of crash and your body's like, now's the perfect time to get sick. But I don't think it's affecting my voice too much, so hopefully we'll be okay. For the video today, I want to start off by just doing a quick recap of my spring knitting plans in case any of you have been around the past few months, and I thought it would be nice to just kind of summarize which projects I wound up completing, which projects I wound up starting, and then which, if any, projects I wound up swapping, which was a few. There's also a couple projects that I just decided not to do. Then I will get into some of the projects I'm bringing into my summer knitting plans, some new projects that I'm planning to start, and some kind of inspirational projects that I don't think I'll have time for, but I think are really cool, and I just wanted to put out there as kind of aligning with the summer vibes and really awesome potential summer projects to add into the mix. And I hope that you'll consider subscribing to follow along, see how my goals actually turn out, and let me know in the comments below, what are you excited to work on this summer? Because of that delay in my podcasts, there's gonna be some brand new finished objects that have never been shown, and I'll go into more detail in my podcast as well, but I feel like this is unheard of for me. I usually am keeping you all updated, and in this time I really didn't. So I have two finished objects that I would consider as part of my summer knitting plans, right? I didn't say, but I consider summer knitting June, July, August, and I finished both of these, I think in June. So this is a 9 p.m. tank by Tiffany. This is one of my favorite patterns for summer. I already made two last summer, and then I made this one with the Golden Purls single ply fingering in Must You Always Be So Cheerful, which honestly is one of my favorite hand-dyed yarns ever. I just find it so gorgeous, and I wanted a simple pattern that could use a single 100 gram skein of fingering weight yarn because that's what I had, and I also wanted to show off the beautiful hand-dyed yarn color. So this one, as you can see, is kind of this mix of pastels with some slightly more vibrant areas. It goes pink, orange, kind of peachy, yellow, green, blue, a little purple. It's pretty much every pastel color. I think it's so beautiful and fun, but because it's kind of muted, it's not overwhelming. It reminds me a little bit of Monet's Water Lilies, and I just love it so much. In terms of the pattern, the sizing is made to measure, and it comes with a calculator, so I really like that. It fits a bust of 28 to 62 inches, and then there's optional bust darts and waist shaping. There's also an option to customize the strap width, which I wish I had done just to cover the bra straps a little more. I wish I had made it wider, but I was playing a little bit of yarn chicken, so I decided not to. But I think if I made another one, which I probably will, I will definitely make the straps thicker. But yeah, I absolutely love this one, and I've already worn it a couple of times and very happy with this as part of my summer knitting. So fun. You can see that I added the waist shaping, no bust darts, and then the back is similar, just a little lower, and absolutely love that one. I haven't blocked it yet, I don't think. I don't know if I'll block it because it's a superwash yarn and I feel like I like how it fits currently. With superwash, when I like how it fits already, sometimes I'm hesitant to block it just because I don't want it to bloom too much. So that one I'm going to hold off on blocking, and we'll see if in the future I feel inspired to, but for now I like how it fits. And the stitches are a little uneven when it's off, but then when it's on and stretched a little, I think it looks great, so happy with that. And then after that, I haven't quite finished this, but it's pretty much finished. I just need to weave in a bajillion ends. This is actually a self-drafted little top, or camisole. I call it the Pippi top or Pippi tank because it has these braided straps, which reminds me of Pippi lawn stocking. So I did the Alana camisole in the spring. I love this V-neck shape, so I wanted to combine a similar neck shaping with an armhole and strap style inspired by the 9 p.m. tank. But then I wanted to mix it up a bit more, so I decided to try making braided straps because I've had this in my mind for a while, but I haven't seen any patterns like this. Not to say they aren't out there, but I just haven't seen it. It was quite fiddly at certain parts, really tested my sanity, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I don't know what happened there. That's concerning. Anyway, I used the Wandering Flock fingering singles in Terrace Bridge, which is a gorgeous colorway. It's like obviously this variegated with kind of white, blue, navy, and then there are some little pops of like a lavender, but those are kind of rare. Where's my, oh, here's one. Here's a little, I don't know if you can see, a little lavender. Yeah, I thought that was so beautiful. I got it almost a year ago at the New York City Yarn Crawl, so I had been saving it for something special, and I decided to do this. And I think if I made another sample of this, I would use a solid color to let the braided aspect show off a little more, because I think it's like a little hard to see with the variegation, but you can see it's braided. There's little I-cord edging around the armholes, around the neckline. For the back, I didn't want to do a v-neck. I did like a little scoop neck in the back, a little v-neck in the front, and then just because, also I don't know if I made it in the most efficient way because I was making it up as I went along, so there's a lot of little ends, especially at the straps, to weave in, so I'll have to figure that out. But then once that's done, I'm really excited. I also did a little I-cord on the bottom. So yeah, I'm really excited to finish this up and wear it. It's like quite a little tank. I made it quite cropped for, you know, nice summery thing. So I'm very proud of that. Let me know if you'd be interested in me trying to write up a pattern. I feel like that would be kind of a big lift. I'd have to look into grading and, you know, sizing and stuff like that, but I definitely would want to make it pretty size inclusive. So I wrote the instructions as I was going along, so at least for myself, if I want to make another one, I can. And yeah, let me know if you're interested in maybe this could be my first published pattern. We'll see. Alright, so that is everything I finished. Now I have a few things in progress that I want to tell you about. And I never know like how much to put in my knitting plans because I don't want to be over ambitious, but I also don't want to underestimate myself. I do a lot of knitting, and I actually am so in the mood for summer knitting this year. I was like so excited to, especially because of my ultimate guide to fingering white tanks and tees, this video that I made. I did so much research for it, and it got me really excited about summer knitting. So this is one of my works in progress. You'll see it's like getting close to being done. It's called the Avani shirt by Caidree. So I'd planned to do the Lila top, and I, for some reason, just kind of second guessed that this one was speaking to me more. And so I used some scrap yarn from my BB sweater. So this is Drops Flora in Magenta, which is a 65% wool, 35% alpaca yarn. Kind of a questionable choice for a summer project. So I'm going to see how it feels after blocking. I might wind up wearing it more of like a pullover, like sweater vest, or not pullover, slip over or sweater vest rather than a summer top, but we'll see. The upper body was so quick to work up, but then the bottom took ages, especially because as you've seen, I typically make like quite fitted negative ease summer tops, and this one has a bit of positive ease, so it dragged on, but I finished the body. It needs to be blocked because it's curling, but there's this little I-cord, and then I just need to add the I-cord edging around the neckband and around the armholes. But I absolutely love this color, and I'm really excited to finish it up. The sizing ranges from a 33.5 to 61 inch bust with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease recommended. And I like this because it's not too skimpy, so it could be appropriate for a broader variety of occasions, especially if it does turn out to be good for the summer. But I also would consider making another one of these in a more summer appropriate fiber. We'll see how it turns out, but yeah, I'm very happy with that one, and hopefully we'll finish that up pretty soon. Another one I have in progress, which also is not super summery, is the Salty Days sweater by Veronica Lindberg. So I know this pattern was really popular in the past year or so, maybe due to a knit along, and I love Kutovakika patterns, so I was really excited to work on this. And it has very beachy vibes, so I'm like, I feel like it could be considered a spring summer pattern in a sense, especially as sweaters go. The recommended yarn is to use a DK plus lace on 5mm needles. galace weight mohair, but I did not want to include mohair just to make it a little more summery again. So I'm using a single strand of KnitPicks wool of the Andes worsted in Blossom Heather. This is like a pretty popular yarn, I think, but I'd never used it before. I really like it. It's like very squishy, and it's knit top down with a drop shoulder. So I have almost finished the body. I'm just working on the bottom ribbing. Then I will pick up the collar, add the sleeves, and yeah, I put this one on pause as I was working on some tank tops, but it was really fun and quick to knit up the body, at least until I got down to the ribbing. I think it will block out very beautifully. The finished bust circumference ranges from 40 to 79 inches with 6 to 8 inches of positive ease recommended, so a pretty broad size range there, although not so much on the lower end, but yeah, I really like that one. I'm happy with the color I chose, and I'm excited to finish it up, maybe get to wear it for like cooler summer nights, and then of course into the cooler months. And then I think you'll see kind of a trend in terms of colors. I'm loving pinks and purples recently. I also am working on the Auguste Camisole by Johanna Gehrisch, and this one is like in an awkward phase where I'm like, I have the front, I'm working on the back. And I included several patterns by Johanna Gehrisch in my ultimate guide to fingering white tanks and tees. I think her designs are so gorgeous, but I've never tried one before. And I got several comments on that video that her patterns have mistakes and are not very well written. So I was like, uh-oh. I decided to try one, and sure enough, there are multiple pretty significant mistakes. I'm not really going to get into it here, but I might have talked about it in my last podcast. Definitely will talk about it in my upcoming one if not. But yeah, it's not a very well written pattern, which is disappointing because her designs are like so beautiful. Like she's such a talented knitter, and I feel like her patterns must be tech edited and tested because she's a popular designer. This one I know is tested because on Ravelry people were saying like I tested this pattern, and I'm like, okay, but then how are these like severe mistakes still in the pattern? I don't know. But anyway, I cannot say I would recommend the pattern, sadly. I might try another one by her and see if this is like a pervasive thing or if I just had bad luck, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully I'll be happy with the end product. Like, aside from the mistakes, I am having fun-ish. Like, it's kind of stressful having to second guess everything, and I've had to rip back already like 2 or 3 times and redo something because I didn't realize that I hadn't kind of thought ahead. I don't know. I don't even want to get into it, but like, if there's a mistake, you have to like anticipate the mistake and plan to like do something different than what the pattern says in order to make the number of stitches work out. So there are a few times that I did not anticipate a mistake, and then my number of stitches wouldn't work, and I could do something weird to like fix it in the moment, but what would work better is like to rip back and like anticipate the mistake so that it goes more smoothly, and I did that. I'm proud of my prior self for doing that, but it was annoying. But this gives you a little bit of a sense. It's like on a cord right now, but it's this really cute like kind of infrequent cable stripey situation. This is the front, which is done. This is the back, which is almost done, and then they will be joined and turned into a little tank top. I'm using Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the color Strawberry Ice Cream, which is gorgeous. I have to say, I definitely prefer Knitting for Olive Merino over Cotton Merino, but I prefer Cotton Merino over 100% cotton, so yeah, but this one is just like a little rough, and it doesn't have that like amazing like bouncy feeling that the merino has, which is just like so fun to knit with. So I can't say this is my absolute favorite project, but I think I'll try to get back into it. I left it on hold before my honeymoon, and I'm super close to joining in the round, so that's exciting. And I do think I'll like the final product, and I do think it will be quite like an open and drapey fabric, which would be really nice for summer, especially when it gets like really hot here in New York City. So yeah, that's another work in progress. And then, oh my gosh, maybe I am too ambitious with my summer plans because I have 2 more works in progress to tell you about. The first one is the Mixed Rib Cami by Florence Miller. This is my second one. I made one last summer and I absolutely loved it. I remember it was pretty boring once I got to the body, or at least I found it kind of boring. So I started this on my honeymoon, but I'm not like forcing myself to work on it. So the back panel is finished, and then I made the little front straps, and now I'm working on the front, but you can see I didn't get too far on the front. I'm using Knitting for Olive Merino in Pink Daisies. Absolutely love this color. and I'm just going to kind of chip away on this one in between other projects so I don't get too bored. Sizes fit a bust of 29.5 to 61 inches with 4 to 6 inches of negative ease recommended. And I think I mentioned this is one of my favorite, my previous one is one of my favorite tanks to throw on in the summer, so I'm hoping this could be similar. My last work in progress that I'm carrying into the summer is the Barbroe tank by Pernille Larsen, and oh, this one's so gorgeous. I am using Knitting for Olive Merino in Soft Mint. You can see I love Knitting for Olive Merino as a summer yarn. I find it like not too hot even though it's wool. And I also started this top on my honeymoon, and I'm finding it so addictive to work on because I just always want to get to the next stripe, and I loved seeing this pattern come together. And it's bottom up, which is not my preference, but it's going okay. It recommends using 3 balls of merino for my size, and I only have 2, so I'm making it cropped. I just split for the front and back, and I have about half a ball left, so I'm hoping that was a good estimate. We will see. The sizing ranges from 25 to 53 inch bust with 1.5 to 4 inches of negative ease recommended. I'm very excited about this one. All right, now we have a few planned projects. The first one is the Filigree Cami by Marzena Kolaczek. And I think this one is so gorgeous. It's obviously a lace back with buttons, and it's worked bottom up in panels, which we'll see. But I think it'll be fun. I'm in a lace mood, so I'm excited to start this one. Probably will be my next cast on once I finish 1 or 2 of these. I'm planning to use Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in Cream, which I have left over from my adapted Rimurimu Tee. It turned into a tank, so I have like a little more than 2 balls left over, which should be good for my size. The sizing ranges from 31.5 to 60 inch bust. Another project that I have planned, hopefully I'll have time for, is the Rimurimu Tee by Yamagara. This is a beautiful lace tee with a keyhole detail at the back of the neck, and it's worked top down. It calls for a light fingering weight yarn on 3 to 3.5 millimeter needles, so I think it hopefully will work up pretty quickly because I find lace typically does. And the bust ranges from 33 to 66 inches. I'm planning to use Murky Depths Yakima fingering in Lucia, which is this beautiful kind of like eggplant color. And this is a 65% merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. And it has 120 grams. I think it should be enough for the tee. I might make it a little cropped. And I just find this such a gorgeous color and such a gorgeous pattern, so I think they'll go together really well. I'm very excited for this. I probably will do it in the fall as well if I don't do it in the summer because it's like a tee. It's not a super summer yarn, so we'll see how that goes. I also have a plan to make another self-drafted tank, but this would be a little different. It will be with these like linen yarns that I got at the New York Yarn Crawl almost a year ago now. I'm not going to show them because they're like buried in one of my stash bins, and it's just like a black and kind of like putty colored yarn. And I think it would make a gorgeous striped tank for spring and summer. So of course I could look for a pattern on Ravelry, but I think I'm going to challenge myself to do a self-drafted version. I'm envisioning like a scoop neck tank with ribbing details and just kind of like blocky stripes. So we'll see how that goes. I think that'll probably be easier than the braided tank top that I made. So hopefully we'll start that soon. And then the last planned one that I have for the summer is the square neck Camisole by Helene. I think this is such a classic pattern, like gorgeous ribbed tank top. I'm planning to use Knitting for Olive Merino in Dusty Teal, which is a gorgeous color, and the sizing fits a bust of 31.5 to 47 inches with 3 to 6 inches of negative ease recommended, so a somewhat limited range, but I'm gonna go ahead with it. And yeah, that is my last kind of like formally planned project. Of course, like, I don't know, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to follow this plan, but like those are the things I have formally planned. So finishing up a few projects that are works in progress, starting a few new ones that I'm really excited about. And then I also have 4 more potential projects that we'll see if I have time to start. The first one is the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. This is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater this year with my friend Jenny. I think she's already finished hers, so I should start it pretty soon. But Rhinebeck is in like mid-October this year, like October 17th, I think. So if I start it by like the beginning of September, I think I should be okay. I'm planning to use KnitPicks Wool of the Andes Worsted in Haze Heather, which is like a purpley color. And the sizing fits a bust of 30.5 to 59 inches with around 8 inches of positive ease, so a nice like oversized sweater. Another potential project is, I mentioned I'm considering making another Ilana camisole by Masha Zyablakova, which is what I'm wearing now. It was so fun and quick to knit, and I really enjoy wearing it, so I'm considering maybe making a size bigger or just going up a needle size, because the current one makes me look snatched, but it's a little sweaty on hot days just because it's like so tight against the skin. But we'll see. I'm planning to use Hedgehog Fibers skinny singles in the color Minty, which is so gorgeous. I got this at the Brooklyn Yarn Call recently, and I am really looking forward to possibly using this to make another Ilana camisole. We'll see about that. I also am thinking of making the twist loop top by Other Loops, and I really love this designer's patterns, or like how they look, but I've never tried one, so we'll see. If I do make this one, I would use the Knitting for Olive Merino in Marzipan. You can see I have a bunch of Knitting for Olive that I'm using or I'm planning to use. And the sizing of this top ranges from 28 to 40 inches with a negative ease of 3 to 6 inches recommended. So again, a pretty limited range, and I try to at least mostly like 80 to 90% of the patterns I make, I try to support size inclusive patterns, but on occasion I will make a pattern that I find really awesome that is not as inclusive. But I think over time, especially because there are so many patterns available, I would love to move towards only knitting size inclusive patterns. So we'll see if I even wind up doing this one. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll choose a different pattern for this lovely kind of beige yarn, and we'll see. And the last thing that I'm potentially going to start this summer is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. So this is a really cute crop top, and I would use Manos del Uruguay Fino in the color Dog Rose, which is such a beautiful like tonal pink. I think it's so gorgeous, and I think this pattern would show it off well, like the tonality of it, because it's a pretty simple pattern. And the pattern is to fit a bust of 28 to 60 inches with 4.5 to 6.5 inches of negative ease recommended. And this yarn has some silk content as well, 70% wool, 30% silk, so it has a little luminosity and is really, really smooth and soft. I also wanted to mention a few patterns that aren't really in the cards for me, just because I have a lot that I am hoping to work on, but I did want to mention just in case it gives you any inspiration. So the first one is a set. It's called the Louisa Top and Skirt by Maria Shea Mogenstad, and I really like this. It's like a lace kind of similar to the Barbroe top, and it recommends Knitting for Olive pure silk. So the top sizing ranges from 28 to 49 inch bust with 2 to 4 inches negative ease recommended. The skirt sizing ranges from 32 to 53 inch hip with 2 inches negative ease recommended. So I think these are so gorgeous. Of course, if you wanted, you could like eliminate the striping and it could just be more simple, like one color with the lace, or you could use like just 2 colors or something like that. But I think it's so fun and summery, and I would love to make this in the future. I also wanted to highlight a new pattern, the Four Seasons Camisole by Celine Phaeton. And this is kind of like 3 patterns in one because there's ribbed, cabled, and lace versions. They are bottom up, which is not my favorite, but they are gorgeous. It looks like they can all cover bra straps, which is a plus. And there are 10 sizes to fit a bust of 25.5 to 70 inches, so quite expansive range. I also wanted to mention the Eliza top by Gregoria Fibers because I'm in my lace era. This is like a very simple lace, and it's fingering weight on 3mm needles. Sizing ranges from 33.5 to 53 inches with 2 inches positive ease recommended. I wanted to include a dress in here as well. I would love to knit more dresses, but based on the Miletus dress, I don't know if I'm allowed because I get kind of bored and my motivation wanes. But this is the Coastline mini dress by Ogla Knitwear. So cute, simple mini dress with this little waist high detail. And the measurements aren't included, but the sizing ranges from extra, extra small to 3XL. And then the last thing I want to mention is the Tides sweater or cardigan by Rebecca Clow. So gorgeous. It seems like it would be kind of lightweight. I don't know if that's correct, but just based on the vibes, how it looks. Something you could kind of throw on in the evenings if it gets chilly or like on a beach trip. The colors she chose are also quite summery in my mind, like a navy and white nautical or that rainbow colorful. And super fun, like wavy colorwork stripes. The sizing ranges from 33 to 72 inch bust with 3 to 6 inches of positive ease recommended. So again, quite a wide range. So with that, let's dive in to my spring knitting recap. So So I had pretty lofty spring knitting plans, and a fair number of them related to my wedding in some way. So at least the first thing I have on the list, I don't know if this was the first thing I finished, but I have my Concha top by Caledonia Dreamin'. Actually, I don't know which is the front and which is the back, but I knit this up in Illimani Sabri, and this I knit for the welcome event for my wedding, and I was thinking about it for months. I was going back and forth, and I just kept coming back to this one, but I feel like I did have some sort of hesitation. Like, I don't know, it's really cute, but there was just something about it that I wasn't absolutely loving, and I wound up not using this one for that purpose. I will see if I wind up using it. I just find the fabric a bit stiff, but then because it is a cotton alpaca blend, so it doesn't have much fiber memory, I decided not to block it. I don't know, this is getting into a lot of detail. I think I've talked about it in a podcast. Basically, I held the yarn double, and I'm kind of regretting that decision, so this could be one that I tear back, unwind, and use for a new different project. And I could see myself re-knitting this because it was a pretty quick pattern in just like a different yarn that is a better fit. We will see. The next thing that I mentioned here on my list that I'm referring to is my Cognac sweater by Atelier Castine. I did this as part of a knit along, and this one I absolutely love. It's I did it in a fingering weight, so this is the most gauge math I've ever had to do, and I just love this one. I got to wear it a few times before it got too warm. It's kind of lightweight, so perfect spring sweater. I love the green color, and yeah, that was a great addition to my spring knitting. I also knit up the fluffy crop top by Lialike. I did this one in La Bien Aimée mohair in Lys. It's this like beautiful, almost like Barney purple color. I find it so gorgeous, and I lent this to my best friend / maid of honor for one of my wedding events, and I think it is so beautiful, but overall I'm keeping it for myself. And it's pretty soft. I think it could be worn without anything underneath, but it's a little see-through. It could also be worn with like a tank top or a t-shirt underneath, and I just absolutely love this one. I only got to wear it like once before it got a little too hot to be wearing mohair. It's a beautiful spring project as well. Another wedding project was the Lace Leaf Bolero by Fasola, and this one I wore for my brunch the day after the wedding, and it's all over lace with a crochet border, and it's a bolero, so it has the sleeves, and this part like goes over the back. And I don't know when I would wear this other than for the wedding, but I just think it's so gorgeous. Maybe it could be like a family heirloom or something like that. It's knitted in Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair, which I find really interesting because it's not super soft, but it's not itchy at all, which I think is a very valuable trait for mohair. So I was very happy with this one. It actually worked up pretty quickly, and I think I'm still in like my lace era. I'd love to work on more lace. I also made the Feels Right tee by Lily Kate France. I absolutely love this. It has gorgeous like classic shaping details. The sleeve caps were super fun because they're all short rows back and forth, and I actually kind of like short rows. And I knit this in the Wandering Flock fingering singles in the color Mystic Violet, which is so beautiful. It has this lovely like tonality, and this is super cute. I find it hard to wear in like warmer weather just because the armpits get like very hot. I would prefer to wear tank tops like this when it gets a bit hotter, but this one I got a few wears of in the spring, including for my birthday picnic, so absolutely love this one. I think the color is so gorgeous. I also knit the Ingrid sweater by Louisa Fredrickson, not the petite knit one, and that is this two-color brioche kind of like leaf design, which is super interesting. I made that for my mom. I gave it to her at my wedding, and she wore it for the welcome event, and I think she is happy with it. And then also for my wedding welcome event, I made an adapted version of the Karina tee by Sari Nordland. So I really like this, and I did wind up wearing it. So it has this beautiful kind of complex cable design, and it's meant to be like a kind of oversized tee with positive ease, but on me it's kind of like a neutral tank top. I just didn't add the sleeves because I actually really like it like this, and then I also added some waist shaping. I don't know if you where's the underarm? Here it is. Waist shaping, which you can kind of see here. And I am really happy with that. and I absolutely love it. I might add some elastic. Oh, I talked about this on a podcast. I like messed up a little bit with I think the front, I made the front too long before joining for the armpit, so it sits a little weird, but pretty happy with that. I just might add some elastic in the armholes so that they don't sag too much. But yeah, absolutely love this one. It was super fun to work up, and I love that cable design. And then the last thing that I knit for my spring knitting plans without switching up was this, the Alana Camisole by Masha Ziablakova. I knit this in, that last one, the Rimurimu Tee, I used the recommended yarn, which is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk Held Double, and that was the color cream. And then the Alana Camisole I knit in Neighborhood Fiber Company fingering, or Rustic organic fingering, something like that. It's like a single ply fingering. And this is the color Ednor Gardens, which honestly is one of my favorite colors ever. It's this like very vibrant periwinkle, like cornflower, purpley blue. I love it so much, and I really love Neighborhood Fiber Co. They're on like a hiatus right now. Hope they come back because I think their colors are like some of the most gorgeous out there. And I absolutely love the Alana Camisole. You'll see in my summer knitting plans I am thinking of making another one because it was so fun, and I find it really flattering and really fun to wear. So yeah, that was a big success as well. I also had planned to maybe make the Lila top by Caidree, and I decided to make the Avani shirt instead, which I'll talk about more in a minute. And I did not wind up working on my Uterp socks or my Miletus dress. I have a problem with circling back to kind of hibernating whips, so I have to think about, I think I'll do the Uterp socks in the fall, and then those are for my husband. The Miletus dress, I don't know, I've worked on it so much, but I feel like I really lost my like spark for it. I'm super close to being done with the body, and then I just need to add the edging, so I feel like I should get on that. Maybe that's like an honorary mention in my summer knitting plans, but you know, obviously, like as probably most of you, knitting is something I do for fun, so I don't want to force myself to work on a project that I'm not that excited about. So we'll see where the wind takes me. But yeah, that is kind of a recap of my spring knitting, super rapid fire. If you're interested in any of these, pretty much all of them I go into more detail in my podcasts. There might be a couple of things. I think all of this stuff should be in podcasts at this point. Like I said, I just haven't had a chance to film a podcast in like probably over a month, or I don't know, maybe like a month at this point, since before the wedding. So yeah, that is the spring knitting. So if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some inspiration. I hopefully will see you next time. Bye.